History's Greatest Myths, Part 2. Hi, I'm Dan the Historian, and today we're going to be looking at a second myth that ties into the first myth we looked at on World War II, and this myth is the myth of the Clean Wehrmacht. So the myth of the Clean Wehrmacht is an idea that came up during the Nuremberg trials after the Second World War. The Nuremberg trials are famous for putting all of the German officials responsible for war crimes on trial for war crimes and crimes against humanity, which was a new legal charge that had been invented for this trial. German military leaders such as Wilhelm Keitel, Karl Dönitz, Erich Raeder, and Hermann Goering were put on trial and put into prison or executed for essentially committing atrocities. During this time, though, the German military officials always maintained that they had fought a clean and honorable war, which the Allied generals had somewhat supported to some degree. The reason for starting this myth is obvious. The German military officials didn't want to be put on trial and potentially executed for committing atrocities. And on the American side, they wanted to have an ally and buffer state against the Soviet Union during the Cold War and wanted to rehabilitate the German military into the Bundeswehr, the modern-day military of Germany, and so they were willing to let the myth persist. But the myth of the Clean Wehrmacht has now been pretty much dismissed, and has been shown that the Wehrmacht was a pretty atrocious and criminal organization by any standards during the Second World War. One historian, Felix Roma, who is a German historian, has pretty much shown this with his study on the Kommissarbefehl, or the Commissar Order, where he shows that essentially 116 out of 137 German divisions had essentially executed prisoners of war on the Eastern Front. And even when divisions or army units did not commit atrocities, most of the time it was for pragmatic reasons and not humanitarian ones.